Dude, who is gonna read this? Like, a chipmunk? And there's a very, very shitty drawing. I don't know if you can see of a flower. Hiya cuties! So my original plan for this week's video has been delayed because my Harvard decision hasn't come out yet. I mean, they probably just forgot about me and I'm gonna face an epic rejection. But instead this week I decided to go through and read some of my old, albeit shitty poems. I have always been a really avid writer. I think I started writing poetry in the 7th grade, and I used to just turn to this whenever I wanted to empathize with a feeling, or I had so many thoughts that I just wanted to express in some way, and this was always kind of my medium. Have a good little laugh with me. Okay, this one was written 2017, and yes, it is very edgy. It's called Nihilism. The clouds do not concern themselves with how they dim the sun. The sun does not care with what sorrow befalls the world beneath it. It just continues to shine. The rain sweeps over concrete streets, muffling and masking screams and sobs. The seasons change regardless of the wars being fought. The world will continue to spin, apathetic. Death does not care who it takes. Meaning only thrives in the human heart, and perhaps we should abandon it. Wow, okay. Damn, okay. I'm always having an existential crisis, so it's not really a crisis anymore. I just always feel existential. But I think when I was younger, particularly, it was the peak of the kind of confusion and edginess. This one I wrote on a trip in 9th grade, I think. It's called Orchard of Treasures. These memories, like premature fruit, will ripen one day to become sweet reveries to get lost in on rainy afternoons. I look forward to picking them off the branches of my mind, to savor the taste and sow the seeds for an entire garden, full of trees that represent a life well lived. Yeah. So this one is another very emo, nihilistic one from 2018. It's called Wilted Garden. I still water the tulips, though I know they'll be dead come June. I still nurture my skin, though one day I'll dry up and turn into an old shadow. I still try to fly, even though falling is inevitable. The cruel thing about life is that despite dying in the end, you still choose to live. Yeah, and there's a very, very shitty drawing. I don't know if you can see a flower. That's the worst flower I've ever seen. Okay, so this one I'm actually quite proud of, but I think it was heavily inspired by a Rupi Kaur poem. It's called Home. A home is not a structure with walls to shield the cold, or lights to keep the darkness at bay. A home is a place where everything is still, when the universe pauses, and solace beckons you like a welcome mat. There's a bed within this home where I can lie, to release the burdens of the day. There are vases filled with my thoughts, and a pantry stocked with my ambitions. My mother, the magician, constructed this home within her own body, blood and skin, brick by brick, stitch by stitch. She forged a beautiful place for me to cherish, and cherish it I will. So yeah, I just really liked using metaphors, and I like that one. Okay, so this next one is incredibly edgy and very cynical, called Happily Never After. Funny how love can live in a gaze that lasts no longer than a heartbeat, but cannot survive in a 20-year marriage. Funny how Till Death Do Us Part starts the countdown to a child custody battle. It's either short and sweet or long and bitter. That fairy tale happily ever after is poison to the truth. Wow, poison to the truth. Damn, okay. So this one I wrote during a kind of lonely period of my life called Semi-Permanent. My dear friend, whom I love, you are a light I can never hold. Those conversations till the sunrise and the laughter till sunset, they do not hold against the apathy of time. Now you are nothing more than strangers, though worse than, as strangers carry potential while you are dead ends. Yeah, that's about the feeling of drifting apart and having people come and go in your life and never feeling like there's anybody that is permanent. So yeah, so this one is called Light, and I think I wrote it after going through some shit and then seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. That moment when you're weightless and all recollections of gravity are forgotten. That moment when you live a little fuller, take up a little more space, speak a little louder. That feeling of your skin turning to steel when everything deflects. That completeness after you've picked up the shattered pieces of yourself off the ground. This is truly living. This is the sunrise you have climbed mountains to see. It's very hopeful. Thank you so much for joining me today as I read some truly shitty poetry. If I don't end up making the Harvard video, this will be my last video of the year. So happy holiday, Merry New Year, fuck 2020, worst year ever. Like the video if you did, dislike if you didn't, and subscribe to the Cuteness Code for more Wattpad poetry. Toodles!